I spent 10 years of my life carving a home out of raw wilderness, only to be told by a stranger in heels that it wasn't mine anymore that I had 2 weeks before bulldozers rolled up to erase everything I'd built. 10 years of sweat-stone cedar and scars reduced to a folder of forged papers, and behind that smile of hers I knew this wasn't some clerical error. This was theft dressed up as authority. My name's Eric Madden. I didn't start out planning to be at war with the homeowners association. I just wanted peace. After divorce gutted my life after custody hearings turned me into a visitor in my own kids' lives, I ran. Not to some city apartment, but out here 80 acres of forest my grandfather left me. The land was wild, half forgotten, and it felt like the only honest thing I had left. I cleared trees by hand, poured concrete with borrowed buckets, nailed cedar beams until my palms bled. That cabin wasn't just a house, it was survival, stitched together, board by board. And then there was Cody. I found him nosing around my truck one morning, ribs showing eyes mean from hunger. I tossed him jerky, he stared at me like I was the first man who hadn't kicked him. From then on, we were a pair of strays. He slept under the porch, guarded the land like it was his too, and reminded me every day that loyalty doesn't need words. For 10 years, we built a rhythm me with hammer and saw him chasing squirrels evenings under stars. I thought I'd finally outrun the world. Then came the SUV. Black polished, too clean for gravel roads. It glided into my clearing like it belonged. The woman who stepped out looked like she'd never walked on dirt in her life. Platinum hair, blazer sharp as glass heels stabbing my driveway like gavel strikes. She pulled out a folder and handed it to me like a death sentence. "This dwelling," she said, pointing at my cabin, "is in violation of rigorous HOA zoning standards. You are required to vacate within 14 days. I laughed at first. "Lady, I'm not in your HOA." But her smirk told me she already considered me trespassing on my own land. "The property was annexed last year. If you have an issue, take it up with the county. The order is binding." She slid back into her SUV, tires spitting gravel, leaving me with papers stamped with seals and signatures that felt too official to fight. That night I called Paul Sinclair. Old friend, patent lawyer brain sharp enough to carve marble. He sighed the way only lawyers do when they smell expensive trouble. "Email me everything. We're not letting this ride." 2 days later he called back, voice heavy. "Eric, she forged it. The annexation, fake approval letter. Fake stamps. This isn't enforcement, it's felony fraud." For a while I didn't feel triumphant. I felt sick. Sick because for 10 years this cabin was the one thing I thought couldn't be taken from me, and now I was staring at the possibility I'd lose it over paperwork. I'd already lost my marriage, my kids, my dignity once. Maybe this was the world's way of saying I wasn't meant to hold on to anything. I remember sitting on the porch, Cody pressed against my leg, thinking maybe I should just pack up, leave before they dragged me out like some squatter. But then I looked at the porch beam still scarred from the day I slipped and smashed my hand with a hammer. Looked at the window, I set myself crooked but steady. And I realized if I gave this up I wasn't just losing land. I'd be throwing away the only proof that I could rebuild. No, not again. Paul flew drones over my property. They captured the boundaries, the old survey stones, every acre my grandfather had left me. And then in the southwest corner they caught something else. A villa. Stucco walls, red tile roof, hot tub on a deck. A brass plaque by the gate, Atwood Retreat. Karen's private palace sitting squarely on my deed. And nearby, a bunker disguised as a storm cellar. Inside, shelves of hard drives, files, stamped maps, all of it proof. HOA letterheads forged. Violation templates ready to be filled in. Spreadsheets cataloging families like prey. And then, the kicker, video diaries. Karen herself, wine glass in hand, bragging about annexing my land, mocking families she'd bankrupted, laughing about how no one would ever challenge her. And, by some twist of fate, Cody had recorded her too. Weeks earlier, I'd strapped a harness cam on him. One clip showed her leading clients through the villa smirking, "This is technically rigorous expansion territory. Paperwork's pending. No one's going to challenge it." She glanced at the trees, saw Cody watching, muttered about throwing him another squeaky toy. She confessed to fraud, to a dog. Paul nearly fell out of his chair. Eric, this is courtroom gold. But Karen wasn't backing off. She doubled down. One evening, a truck pulled up 3 men in work shirts with clipboards. "You," Eric Madden one asked. "We're here for the scheduled teardown." My blood turned to fire. Of what I demanded. Your house. Fast-track HOA directive. Cody lunged, teeth sinking into denim, sending one man stumbling back. Then headlights again. A sedan this time. Karen herself, stepping out, fury carved on her face. "Why haven't you started?" she barked at the crew. What she didn't expect were the flashing red and blue lights rolling up behind her. Sheriff Dalton stepped out calm as stone. "Ma'am, we've reviewed your documents. They're forgeries. You're under arrest for attempted property damage and unlawful entry." She spun on him like a rattlesnake, screaming about knowing the Attorney General, shrieking that I was trespassing on HOA land. But the cuffs clicked anyway, and just like that, her heels stopped cutting grooves into my driveway. In court, Paul laid it all out. The fake annexation map pulled from farmland 2 towns away. The invoices from shell companies funneling money into Karen's accounts. The spreadsheet of victims, each note reading like a predator's manual, husband weak. Push harder. Evict quietly. Then came the video. Karen laughing in her villa, saying she'd have the whole corner by Christmas. And finally, Cody's footage, her voice captured by a stray dog. The courtroom broke into laughter, whispers of Justice Dog rippling through the gallery. Even the judge had to hide a smile when Karen blurted, "That mutt peed on my porch." Her empire collapsed in days. The HOA dissolved in shame, her villa condemned and bulldozed into dust. The brass plaque with her name lay twisted in the rubble while Cody sniffed it once, lifted his leg, and ended her reign the way only he could. I didn't cheer. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt the weight slide off my chest, the land finally breathing free again. Karen had forged papers, bribed officials, tried to erase my decade of work, and in the end, it was her own arrogance that destroyed her. And if there's one thing I learned, it's this: sometimes the fight you don't want is the one that proves you were right to stand your ground.